What's good, y'all? And welcome to the check in, where we tap in with your favorite artists from wherever they are. Now, I'm your girl, Miss JLH, and I'm here with R&B artist Jack Freeman. Say what's up, Jack.
They do. I came to check in to make sure I'm safe in the city, wherever you at.
Yes. Now, for those who may not know you or have never listened to you before, can you please just tell the people who you are, where you're from, and what you're about?
I'm Jack Freeman. I'm from the north side of Houston, Texas, and I am a singer songwriter of the R&B persuasion. And I've been doing this for quite some time, but we're on a new beginning, and we just dropped an album called Nina last year, and we got a new single from that album called MVP, and we're here to talk about all of those things.
I
So,
will. Yes, let's get started. So,
mhm.
I definitely want to talk about your album a little bit because
Yep,
I did a deep dive on your work. I really
yep.
loved listening to Nina. I thought it was an awesome album. But I
Thank you so
really want
much.
to talk about Lenny's Juke Joint. That was your first album.
That was the first album. You have been doing homework. I see. I see.
Yes. Now, what made you name the album that? And honestly, it made me think of Q's Joint, Juke Joint. Did you ever hear that album by Quincy Jones?
Yeah, yeah, I love that album actually.
Okay.
That's not why I named it that. I can't, to be honest with you, I don't actually remember why I did that.
Okay.
But I think it just sounded good, and I think a lot of the music kind of sounded a little bluesy, and it had a very soulful feel to it. So I just felt like it might have felt like what a juke joint would sound like, would look like if I owned one. So I
Okay.
think that's pretty much where I was with that. Yeah,
Good. That's what's up. Because that's what it made me think of listening to it. And it also threw me back to my childhood of listening to Q's Juke Joint. That was one of my
absolutely.
favorite albums growing up.
Love
And
Q's juke joint.
you're right. It was so soulful. So
It was
that's what made
amazing.
it for me. Is
Mhm.
that one of your inspirations, you feel, Quincy Jones?
I mean, honestly, anybody in this industry that doesn't feel like they were influenced by Quincy Jones is probably dead. Like inside, they're dead. Cause there's so many ways that you can look at that. It's like, are you a fan of Michael Jackson? Well, then you're a fan of Quincy Jones. Are you a fan of big band or jazz music? Then you're a fan of Quincy Jones.
Absolutely.
If are you a, it's you can go on and on and on for this. I mean, the guy has what 70 years of musical output that's been amazing. This man was winning Grammys at 80 some years old. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, he's to say the least. He's one of the influences. He's everybody's North Star. If you're a producer or a songwriter, then he should be the bar.
I absolutely, I totally agree with that. I think he's definitely a producer we don't talk about enough who's very underrated, even
Yeah,
though, he's a little older than our generation, but definitely
right.
underrated for sure. Yeah.
He's found a way to dip into all genres and get into the new wave of things without feeling like he's trying too hard. That was what was really good about him. So when he put out rap records, it didn't feel like, oh, this is Quincy Jones trying to be down and be a rapper.
Yeah.
It didn't feel
Yeah.
like that. It felt like, oh, Quincy doing his own thing and he just putting rappers on the records, like Big Daddy Kane and guys like that. Um, so that was the most special thing about him musically, I think, is that every time the times changed, he not only changed with it, but he was the catalyst of a lot of it too. Like he
Yeah.
became part of it. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Yep.
I love you putting that out there saying, it didn't sound like he worked with rap artists when he was making those type of records.
Right.
Do you feel like you kind of followed that prototype as well? Because when you jumped into the music scene, you did that featuring yourself on rappers' songs and things of that nature. So is that something that you try to do as well?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a child of hip hop, so it's, coming up, being from Houston, hearing all of Houston, and then hearing all the rappers that I heard over the years, Jay Z and Nas and um, all the West Coast guys and just all of those things, it made sense for me to jump into it. So, you know, as many hooks as I was doing, I kind of wanted to have the approach that like if I were if I were Nate Dogg, how would I do it? If I were
Mhm.
Zero, how would I do it? If I were Missy, how would I approach it? You know what I'm saying? And because those are the people that I look to when it came down to like doing collaborations with rappers. And because the great part about it is I'm not just an R&B artist that am just doing the record with the artist. I'm most of the time I'm a fan.
Mm.
So by the time I by the time I met Scarface, I knew all of Scarface's records.
Yeah.
So and by the time I met Slim, I had already Slim from the same place as I am. Like I already knew who I was talking to and what I was dealing with.
Right.
So it didn't feel like here's this little R&B guy coming in trying to jump into this hip hop thing. Like it was just already in me. You know what I mean? You see how I'm dressed now. Like
Absolutely.
I'm yeah. So like that's
Yeah.
how I felt. So people be looking at me crazy like what do you know about that? I'm like, what you mean? What I know about 8 Ball and MJG? Of course I know 8 Ball and MJG. You know what I'm saying? Like that's.
Yeah.
I'd be like, why don't you know 8 Ball and MJG? You know what I mean? you
That's
know.
funny you say that. Like, I do feel like people try to force certain artists, if they come out in a certain lane, they try to make them stay in that lane as if they don't
Mhm.
know any other genres outside of that. Do you feel like that
Yep.
happens to you a lot?
I think that I started. I think one of if it ever happens, is because people feel like when they hear my music, they say, "Oh, you're a neo soul artist," and I think that anytime somebody tries to put that label on me, it just kind of like tries to box it in. And from my catalog and from my library of music, you can run the gamut of like all the things that I've done. On Define Love, I did a country song, and I wasn't even trying to do the country song. It just felt like a country song, so I did it. You
Right.
know, I've done. You would be harder pressed to find a rapper in Houston that I haven't worked with. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Um, I've done all types of different records, man. I've done. I last couple of years we've been doing house remixes and things like that, and so I have like a bit of a house footprint and a traditional R&B footprint and a neo soul footprint and a soul footprint and a blues footprint and at least one country song in my catalog and all of this hip hop stuff. So I kind of don't even really let people put me in that box because it's like, oh, you haven't actually heard the whole thing.
Yeah.
You may have heard like maybe one thing. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Um so even when they try to box it in, I don't really it really kind of doesn't work because I can just do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do love that. What advice can you give the artists who feel like they're being boxed in and told that they can only do one style of music?
What the main thing that I would give any artist, even if they're not feeling boxed in, is that if you're starting this, you got to figure out what type of artist you want to be first,
Mm.
and you got to know that whatever you put out into the world is something you need to be proud of and something that you need to be ready to do for years to come. If you want to make gospel music, but stand on that. If you want to make the most ratchet hip hop there is, make it, but also be proud of it. So
Right.
if you gang banging in all your music, then you gotta be proud of what you're putting out because that's what you're also gonna attract.
Mm.
If you make music for gangbangers are gonna show up to your shows and they gonna try to see if you really about that gangbanging. If you and that's an energy that you have to be comfortable with being around for the rest of your life.
That's
If
exactly.
you Because even when you change and try to move into something more positive, all of that's still gonna follow you, right? If you
Absolutely.
want to twerk on all your songs, twerk on all your songs, but understand that you can't just do that to go viral and then try to switch
Mm.
it and be something that you can't just be something you're not. Make sure that what you're making is authentically who you are. So if you are a person that dips in and out of different genres, then do it, but do it as long as it feels natural to you, if it makes sense. Don't be trying to make country music if country ain't what you want to make. You know what I
Mm.
mean? So um that's what I would tell artists. You know what I
That's
mean?
good advice. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. And taking it to the South for a little bit, can
Mhm.
you explain the Houston sound to people who are not from Houston? I actually still don't really know what the sound
Yeah.
is either.
So the sound is really eclectic, right? So the reason why people don't really know the sound as well is because there's not a ton of R&B that comes out from Houston. Obviously we got Destiny's Child, Beyonce, Solange.
Right, right.
Um, but there's an R&B of so actually the R&B Houston sound is really Brian. It's Brian Michael Cox. When you
Oh,
think about it, he's from Houston.
I
So
actually did not know that.
yeah, Brian grew up in Houston. He was born in Miami. He grew up in Houston, and he graduated high school and went to Atlanta. He went to Clark, and he just never
Well,
came back.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's been in Atlanta since '97, but he's Houston. Um, but the sound itself is a lot of soul influence. There's a lot of Louisiana Creole. It almost the sound mimics the food, if
Oh,
it makes sense.
it does.
So
It does actually.
it's heavy, it's soulful, it's flavorful, it's got a lot of different things in it.
Yeah.
We um we influence a lot of things. So when you think about Houston and you think about hip hop, a lot of the things you think about are Scarface, Ghetto Boys, Swisher House, DJ Screw, right?
Right.
But you also have to talk about DJ Premier, who's from Houston. You also have to talk about Mike Dean, who's from Houston.
It's you putting me on for me.
Yeah. So, you know, so a lot of the there's a lot of bottom in the music. Um Specifically with hip hop, traditionally our music was a little bit slower because you could ride to the music
Yeah,
because we
yeah.
ride in the slabs and we like the big rims and the
Mhm.
on the Impalas and the Cadillacs and all that kind of stuff. So they like to ride slow. So Screw matched the culture, um, and then it just became cyclical, right? But
Mhm.
what we did was we enjoyed everybody's music because we was in Houston, so we were in the middle of everything. So we had a little bit of LA, we had a little bit of the Bay because E40 and Too Short love Houston,
Right.
and Yuck Mouth loves Houston. You know what I mean? And Snoop and all of them, they love Houston. And then we had the New York sound coming through because you know they come to Houston and they enjoy our food and they enjoy our things. So we use a lot of sampling of different regions, but we also just like to. It's like a gumbo of things. It's like it we when you rapping, we got lyrical rappers and we got guys that's just there for the vibes and the ride and the you know and to just floss a little bit. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? We
yeah.
like our gold teeth and our cars and our chains, our big jewelry and things like that. And it feels like that. It feels
Yeah.
like the food.
I do love that
Um,
you explained it as gumbo. That was a perfect
yeah,
analogy.
yeah, yeah. It's gumbo, which isn't really native to Houston,
Right.
but it's the cousin.
I feel
If
that.
you, yeah,
No, I felt that analogy
yeah,
because I mean, 2005 was a huge year for music in Houston,
huge.
and a lot of people, blew up in there. You had Paul Wall, you just had a lot of people coming out of Houston doing their
Yeah,
thing. But
yep.
how has that impact in 2005 impacted you as an artist?
It taught. I think if you were if you were a younger artist in Houston that saw the boom but weren't participating in it, you learned a lot
Hmm.
because those artists that you just mentioned, we had already known for almost 10 years, right?
Oh wow, now we
So
relate.
Yeah, really, really. Like, I mean, but it's like anything else. It's like, you know, once the world heard E40, the Bay had known E40 for since like 85, you know what I mean?
Man,
You know, or
yeah,
81, you know what I mean?
I didn't think of
But
that. Yeah,
yeah, so, the Slim Thug I remember was literally a slim kid that was 17 years old rapping on mixtapes on Switch
that's
Files.
crazy.
The powwow I remember was cornrows and didn't cuss in his raps.
He had cornrows.
He had cornrows. And him and Chameleon there were best friends around that time. Like they used to make albums together and do freestyles together and stuff like that. Um,
The Houston history lesson is crazy right
yeah,
now.
the little flip that I remember is the same. This is prior to him having any type of beef with Ti and all that other stuff. The flip I remember was the 18-year-old kid with a Jaguar that had the Burberry paint job on it and the spree wheels. Like these guys was riding like that before they came out.
That's
So
crazy.
Slim, when he put out already platinum, it was because he literally was living like a platinum selling artist
That's
already. You know what I'm
crazy.
saying? So it taught us a lot because what did happen in '05 was that all of these guys got a lot of money, but then or got these major looks at least. The money was kind of the same because they were making a lot of money independently. But what also happened was there was a lot of splintering going on, and guys didn't stick together the way that they probably should have.
Mm.
As opposed to like in Atlanta, everybody just kind of moved as a unit. And
Yeah,
even
yeah,
if you didn't really hang out with each other, you kind of
yeah,
disrespected what they did and kind of left it alone.
absolutely.
There was a lot of splintering happen, and I think I don't really know what the cause of it was, but there was a lot of kind of infighting here, and then there was infighting here, and then it was kind of like when it really should have been a united or more united front.
Mhm.
And I think that they've all since learned from that, and they're all great now, and they all collaborate more now, and they all do things now. But it helped me understand what was going on there, to where I was like, okay, well, when I do this, I don't really I don't really come from a lot of affiliations with like the streets or anything like that, so I don't have a reason to um, not do records with this person or not go into this room or not do these things. Um, but that independent mindset is what came for all of us. And a lot of those guys found that when they got to those labels, that they was really making the same money but taking less percentage.
Yeah,
And so if they really can just go back, Slim was one of those main people that will tell you that. It's like when he went back independent, he was like, dude, I'm making the same money, probably more by just straight to consumer, straight out the trunk, like I've been doing, and then just figuring out the digital part of it. So there was a lot to learn that '05, '06, '07, those years where these guys were hitting big and doing shows all over the place, because a lot of those guys can still go to Japan and China and do shows. And
absolutely.
Paul Wall is one of them. Paul Wall is he's an entrepreneur, man. I mean, he's selling grills, he doing
A legend, that's for
so
sure.
you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
these guys have an entrepreneurial spirit, so they have
all
whether
of
they doing soft drinks or food, or like Bun is doing Trill Burgers, and um, Slim, selling all of the things that he sells. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Um, they live an amazing life, and they're able to kind of like give us game on how to continue to do the independent thing if that's what we want to do, or help us navigate the major game if we want to.
Absolutely. And can you describe the Houston music scene today? Do you think it's changed a lot, that it's grown, or that it's getting better? Are people working more together now? What are you seeing in Houston as far as music is
I'm seeing a lot of. I feel like it's a lot more diversity. Um, Another artist that's from Houston that lived here for a while is uh, Lizzo.
going? Oh my
So
gosh, I didn't know that either.
yeah, so I think Lizzo is from Minneapolis, but she lived in Houston for a while.
Okay.
After Katrina, Normani moved here.
Wow.
So Normani's been here since she was a kid. You know what I mean? I'm older than Normani and Megan Thee Stallion and Travis Scott. But that contributes to the diversity of it. You got Sauce Walker, and you got Propane, and you got um, still the legends around, and lot of we are really robust with female rappers right now. We got Ken the Man, and we got Mona Leo, and we got just, and of course Megan, like I said, and then a lot of artists that's just coming up. We got OTB Fastlane, and we got just so many dope rappers. R&B wise, we got Dende. Dende is dope.
I
Um,
love Dende, yes.
Dende is dope. Susan Carroll, when she graduated college, moved to Houston after
That's
she's
what's up.
she's from Dallas, but she's from up there,
Okay.
but but we have so many great artists, and then we have people like Robert Glasper, and we got Chris Dave, and we have um Bernice, and like I said, Brian Michael Cox still doing his thing, and Donnie Scant still doing his thing, and Mike Dean still doing his thing. So now it's so robust with different energy and different flavors of the music that I think it has the potential to be better than it's ever been right now. So,
I love
and
that.
Maxo Cream, I forgot about Maxo Cream. Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
And Toby.
That's what's up. Putting on and showing love to Houston. Yes. Let me tap
Yeah,
into
man.
these Houston artists more often.
Absolutely,
Y'all out
absolutely,
here. Now, I
absolutely.
do want to switch it a little bit because I did see that you come from a musical background a little bit in your family. Your dad was singing, your sister sung, but
Mhm.
you ended up doing sports for a little bit. What was the
Yeah.
change, and do you regret that change at all?
So I'll answer the second question first.
Okay,
I don't regret um, leaving football.
gotcha.
I think that that was a time for me. I loved football and I loved running track, and um, that was a special time in my life that I really enjoyed. Physically, though, I don't know that I feel like running into people head first all the time or getting hit all the time. Like it puts your body through a lot. I do kind of wish I had ran track a little bit longer. When I got to college, they wouldn't let me run track. Um, Now the change came with my second year. I was just tired, man. I think I had gotten disillusioned with it, and just like anything, there's a lot of politics that go into being a college athlete. Obviously, at that time, there was no NIL to really like get us through there. But I just got I was over it. I woke up one day and I was just like, man, I think I'm done. And for me, if I'm done, I'm done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't really like, and it can be like I could just wake up one day and be like, yeah, I don't want to do that no more.
Yeah, same.
And yeah, so um when I was in that transition, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And I guess God had a hand on me in a way that was always just like, man, I've groomed you and built you and grown you to be quite extraordinary. You can do a lot of things. I put a lot of ability into your body, and I want you to understand that I didn't put you here to be a normal, everyday, run of the mill human being. And I think that at every stop since I've started making music, he has shown me I don't want you there. This is what you're supposed to be doing.
I
I've
know
gotten
that's
fired from 3 or 4 jobs for ridiculous reasons,
I,
and it's because I wasn't supposed to be there.
right.
And so one of those days one of the first times he told me that probably was when I was like, well, I could sing. I think I could write a song. And in 2009, I wrote my first song, and it was just like,
That's beautiful. I
yeah,
love that testimony. God
yeah,
will do it, won't he?
absolutely, absolutely.
I know that's right.
Won't he will?
Yes. Now you've been on your right now you're currently on tour
Yep,
with Jagged Edge.
jagged edge.
Love that. But
Yep,
you've had some amazing tours and opening shows for other people in the past. You
right.
opened up for Bilal, Frankie Beverly Mays, and
Yep.
you've opened up for amazing people. Who
Yep.
has been your favorite to open up for?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think Frankie Beverly and Mays was so special because I was not ready to do that.
Yeah. Was that scary?
It was. It kind of was, man. We're in this arena in Tyler, Texas. It's like 2,500, 3,000 people in there. I got one project out. Lenny's Juke joint wasn't even out when I did that.
Dang.
And just being in front of and I'm like, they ain't come to see me. They came to see Fantasia and they came to
Right.
see Maze. Like, you know, that was really special to me. Um, there was countless rappers from the blog era that I used to open for because I used to sing these hooks for a rap group called the Nice Guys.
Hmm.
Um, we did J. Cole's first show in Houston. We did Big Sean's first show in Houston. We did Schoolboy Q's first show in Houston. I
Wow.
was at Kendrick Lamar's first show in Houston. It
Wow.
was 300 people in that room. And
Wow.
did we do a show? I didn't do a show with Wiz. I met Wiz early on. I met a really young Nipsey Hussle in like 2011, 2012. But I would say Maze would be one of the favorites. I think opening for John Legend was dope at South by Southwest. I think Bilal's was just hilarious because Bilal is like a funny guy. And I don't
I'm
think he's trying to
sorry.
be funny. I think he just is funny. And
Wow.
so, yeah, so Bilal's great. Right now, though, this Jagged Edge tour is really something special. Though. I'm really enjoying it, man, a lot.
What's been your favorite city so far?
Before Jacksonville, I probably would have said Indianapolis.
Mm,
But I think Jacksonville was really dope.
wow.
Jacksonville was a lot of fun.
Okay. And was it the energy, the city itself,
It
or
was the energy because people have a tendency to just kind of stare at you when you're the opener, which I understand completely. But I think the energy around them after that was more so like, yo, you did amazing. You know, they don't mind telling you that they appreciate what you're doing. And as an artist, that's kind of all we want to know is like, do you appreciate what we're doing? Do you or did you just buy the ticket to come say make it good? You know
yeah,
what I mean? And as an opener, it's important to understand that if you're the opener, unless you got hit records on the radio right now or in the past, they not gonna know you,
yeah,
and they're really not gonna have an obligation to care unless you make them care.
absolutely.
So it's a grooming aspect of that where I think every artist should be able to do that. Go in front of a bunch of people that you don't know and sing your music because it's easy to cover songs. It's easy to get in front of the same people that you always get in front of. But how do you grow that and how do you create
Yeah.
more fans? You know what I'm saying? So that's the
True.
special part about it, I think, for me. But yeah, Jacksonville showed out the other day. They did their thing.
That's what's up. Now, did you have like surprise people in the audience that you were like, "Oh, these are fans. They know my music." Does that ever happen?
I feel like somewhere dipped in the back, there was like a couple people that was like, okay. I'm like, oh, they must know that song. Okay. You know, because some people do their due diligence and say, oh, this guy Jack Freeman is opening. Okay, well, let me hear what they got to say.
Yeah.
And then so they'll come to me and sometimes and they'll be like, I listened to the music before the show, and so I was jamming when you was up there. You might not have seen me because I was in the back or I was in the middle or I was up at the top, but I was up there. I'm like, okay, I appreciate that. I thank you.
That's
Thank you. I
what's
appreciate
up.
it.
I love that. Now,
Yeah.
I do want to ask before we wrap this up and get to the R&B trivia game because I do have a
Okay.
few fun questions for you.
All right.
Excluding yourself as an artist, who are your top five favorite R&B artists?
Now or of all time?
Okay, can you give me two for now and then three of all time?
Two for now and three of all time. Okay.
Yeah,
Um, Ari Lennox,
good one.
Kenyon,
Okay,
/ Duran. I love Duran. I'm going on tour with Duran in May.
I love Duran as well.
Yes. So I'm gonna give you two to three there.
Okay, okay, okay.
I'll give you three of all time. D'Angelo, Usher, Donny Hathaway.
That's beautiful. And
Can
I'm
I do a
glad you.
female version of that?
Oh, sure. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Shaka Khan, Whitney Houston, Jasmine Sullivan.
Okay, okay. I do love your influences because when I listen to your music, especially Red Light, it gave me D'Angelo vibe that's like old school, but also it gave me like Otis Redding and like
Yeah,
Teddy Pendergrass vibes. Not
yeah,
gonna lie, but also new school, you reminded me of like Ro James a lot. I don't
yeah.
know why the voice and then like kind of the sound and like especially with Red Light, it kind of
Yeah.
gave me Ro James vibes.
Every blue moon, I get someone, I get a Ro James comparison. Shout out to
That's
him.
crazy.
He's dope. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like him a lot, and I like Luke James a lot too.
Oh yes, I love
Luke
me
is
some
great.
Luke James.
I wish he would put out more music, so hopefully we can
Me
get some.
too, but I do love him acting. He is
Oh, he's
crazy.
great. He's
Is
amazing.
that
He's
something you
amazing.
want to dabble in at all?
Absolutely, I want to do that real soon. So we're gonna try to figure that out this year.
Yeah, I would love to see you in some projects. You have the face for it, so let's go for it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can see you on the
baby.
screen. You got that.
Oh, stop. Okay.
Now, I do have a quick trivia game that I would love to play with you real quick. I
All right.
have a few questions that I'll put together, seeing if you really love R&B and do you know your
All
R&B?
right. All right. We're
um,
gonna see how this go.
yes, here we go. Now, first question. Are you
Yeah,
ready?
I am ready.
Now, can you name all four members of Jagged Edge?
Brian, Brandon, Wingo, and Kyle.
I love it for you. Now you
Yeah.
use the last names, but I definitely use Richard's first name because that's what his not my mama named him. So
Yeah. Oh, yes. It does. You're Richard Wingo. Yes. Yes. Oh,
now, second question. Besides Beyonce, which R&B artist has the most Grammys?
that's a good question. Babyface.
I'll give you one more try though if you want.
R&B artist that has the most Grammys outside of Beyonce.
Oh,
Give
let
me a
me
hint. Male or female?
male old school.
Stevie.
Oh my God, how did you know
It
that?
is Stevie. Stevie. So quick history. The best album, the album of the year has been won by 13 artists. By no, by 13 black artists. Stevie was twice.
Wow, you better go ahead. You do love your R&B with the
I'll be
facts.
knowing.
I know
I'll
that's
be knowing.
right.
I'll be knowing.
Now,
Yeah.
did you know that Quincy Jones also has a lot of Grammys? Like he's
Yes.
also on that list. I did not know that either.
He up until Beyonce broke it, I think he was the most nominated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
insane. What's
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what's up?
And in all different categories. Jazz, R&B,
Children's,
pop.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I insane. Quincy
Yeah.
Jones was an icon for sure.
Yes, he was. Yes, absolutely. Rest in peace to Quincy Jones,
Absolutely.
man.
Rest in peace. Now, this is going to be this or that. Who do you choose? One must go. And I ain't gonna hold you. I know you on top on tour with JE, but only one answer is right here. Now, this is
Is it?
Drew Hill and Jagged Edge.
I
Who are
call them
you
the Drew
choosing?
Tang clan because look how many of them it is now.
I don't know why they kept growing. I just don't
I do,
understand it.
because people was leaving the group and then coming back, and they was just like, "Well, we just might as well keep them."
I guess,
So,
but I thought only one person had left. Why they all keep? That's ridiculous.
hey, so one got to go.
One has to go. I'm gonna be disappointed if you choose wrong. I know who you on tour with, but don't choose wrong now.
You want me to? Oh, because you from Baltimore.
I am.
Well, this is a trick question.
Is it?
Yeah, but in order for me, so that I don't get kicked off the tour, I'm gonna say that Drew Hill got to go.
That's really crazy. I respect it,
I
but
don't want
it
to get
is
kicked off this
really
tour.
insane.
I'm having fun, but I love Drew Hill. Shout out to Drew Hill, man.
Love them down.
Yes.
All right, another one. Last one.
Hmm. Who is that
Best
next to SW? Invoke.
In
Oh,
Vogue.
oh, come on, man.
Yep. And there is no wrong or right here. This was hard for me as well.
So fun fact: Terry from Invoke is from Houston,
Wow, I did not know that.
and she went to my school. She went to Prairie View A&M.
Shut up. Okay,
Yep.
Terry, Houston native. I love this Houston love on this show.
Yes. But these are my two favorite female R&B groups.
Wow,
So I don't know if anybody told you that, but this is actually not okay.
I did not
Um,
know that. SWV is
SWV versus
kind of
In
wild.
Vogue. I'm gonna say I gotta say that In Vogue must go just because I listen more SWV.
Oh,
But
jeez.
In Vogue is sonically um harmonies incredible. They sound like one voice a lot of the time.
Yeah,
Um I have In Vogue in the same place that I have Boys to Men
I love
in
that.
my yeah.
That's
And
beautiful.
SWV is where I would put them in like I would put them with Jodeci.
Okay, that's interesting. That is very interesting. Huh.
Mhm.
Okay, I
It's just a
love
different
that though.
swag. It's a In Vogue and Boys to Men were like a really polished and like really together, tight. You know, as far as like it seemed like it almost felt like a regiment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
SWV and Jodeci felt swaggy and street
Oh my
and
gosh.
raw.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and they
right.
yeah, and then you got Coco and KC. They both that church feel that you know what I'm saying. Like
Yes.
it
I
just felt
never thought of
away.
him
You know
like
what I
that
mean?
before. That is accurate as hell.
Yeah. So shout out to Invoke. Please don't be mad at me, Invoke. I really want to do something with you guys. I love Invoke so much.
Absolutely. I love them as well. And I don't know if you've ever seen SWV in concert, but I just saw them like last year and
You talking
fire.
about on the Escape tour, the
Yeah.
Escape and SWV tour? I
Oh
did
my
see them. I
gosh.
did see them, and I met Coco and Taj,
Oh,
and I met all three of them. I met all three of them back there.
that's
Me and Kenyon
beautiful.
went. We was on tour
That's what's up.
when they were in Raleigh. We had a show in Durham, and we went over on our off day and went over to the pavilion and I mean the amphitheater and saw them. 702, Maya,
Yeah.
Total, I think, and then Escape and somebody else was on that tour, but it was a good show. It was a good show. I love SWV.
Yeah, they were amazing. Oh, the OMG girls were there.
Yeah, we
Oh,
missed the OMG girls. We got
thanks.
there late.
Unfortunately, I did too.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
yeah, they was like at the top of the show because
yeah.
I think Coco's son also performed right when
Oh,
he on the
I
tour.
don't know. I was late for the openers.
I think he had like performed something, I believe, but I called
Okay,
Maya. I loved Maya's set.
that's when me too. She was amazing.
I
I
thought Maya had arguably the best set to me.
Yeah, she was really good. But I was really excited to hear SWV live.
Yeah,
Sister with Voices is voicing.
love SWV. Love SWV. They don't miss.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Jack, I want to thank you so much for tapping in with the check-in.
Thank you very
You
much.
want to just leave? I definitely want you to shout out what you have coming up and going on because I know you got a show coming up on May 2nd in Durham, North Carolina. So, if you
Yeah,
just could share that real quick with the people, and also just some words of wisdom before we
for
go.
sure. So, um, we're finishing the Jagged Edge tour. We got 3 more dates. I don't know when this comes out, so it might be 2 more dates by the time it comes out.
Yeah,
Um,
flew to come one day.
on Monday, okay, yeah, it'll be 2 more dates from there. We have we got the Duran Bernard tour at the end of May. We have May 2nd. I'll be in Durham at Missy Lane's. So I'm doing 4 dates with Duran, Houston, Austin, Dallas, and Phoenix. So get ready for those. We got the remixes to MVP coming out soon.
Hey,
We got a remix with Bun B. We got a remix with Corey Mo and Big Crit. We might have some other remixes coming, so be ready
I'm
for that.
excited for that.
We have the deluxe version of the album coming. So more songs
Awesome.
coming. Chopped and screw versions, remixes, all kind of stuff. Um,
I'm glad because that album was honestly too short for me. So
That's my favorite thing, is that when people tell me that they needed more,
Okay, great.
that they needed more
Yeah.
songs.
I was
Yes.
like, dang, it's over.
Yeah, yeah. We got about like 7 or 8 records that are, you know, from
I
those sections that we're gonna
bless
drop.
you. Thank you.
Amen. Hallelujah. Um, what else? If you need to, find me, you can follow me on Instagram. I am Jack Freeman, Jack Freeman JR on Twitter. I am Jack Freeman on TikTok. Noir52.com on as the website, NOIR52.com. Um Facebook, Jack Freeman Music. I don't really be on Facebook that much, so
Me neither.
and I don't be doing TikTok dances, so just be ready for whatever. Um, but yeah, you can find me there. Parting wisdom. Um, I believe that everything great in the world happens through love, and I think that the greatest athletes, the greatest artists, the greatest minds in tech and in academia are only great because they love what they do.
Mm.
They don't love what they do because they're great.
Mm.
When you love something, you you fertilize it, you give it all of the love and attention that you need, and when it changes, you learn how to change with it,
Mm.
so that you can learn to love it the proper way. And when you love something, you don't mind spending all the time that you need to make it better and to make yourself better. And um, literally, nothing great happens without love attached to it. Um, if you have that, if it wasn't for me, if it wasn't for the love of my family, um, if I didn't believe that God loved me, if I didn't believe that my friends loved me, then I wouldn't be here today. I'd be a very different person. So I'd probably be dead. So nothing great comes without love. And as long as we understand that and know that we're here for love, then the world will be a lot better place and the things we create would be so much better. Because when you love it, you want to make it good.
I will
So that's my parting wisdom.
love it. Thank you so much,
I
Jack.
should do like a Rev Run Blackberry email and
Yeah,
send it to my friends to do that.
yes. You got some words of wisdom in the
Thank you so
morning
much.
because that was beautiful. I actually needed that. So thank you so
Absolutely. Thank you.
much. Jack, thank you so much for tapping in with the check-in. I hope you I wish you the best for the rest of your tour and for all future endeavors coming up. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All
Got to
right.
do it again.
Definitely. I want to thank y'all so much for tuning in to the check-in. I'm your girl, Miss JLH, and we are out. Peace.